Under pressure, it can be hard to remember all the steering and references when parallel parking, so why not try this simplified version? Then, later, we'll look at reversing into a small gap too. On the test, we don't have to worry about reversing into a small gap. We'd pull up on the left and then we'll be asked to pull alongside a specific vehicle, usually the one directly in front, so in this case the van, then reverse park, finishing reasonably close to the curb. The first task will be to move away under control and having done effective 360-degree observations, then pull up fairly parallel next to the target vehicle, but not too close. Then we need to select reverse gear to let approaching vehicles from behind know what we're doing. Do 360-degree observations again, and see whether we're clear to start steering toward the curb without hitting the vehicle next to us. We can do this by looking here out the back passenger window, and when we can no longer see the other vehicle past the passenger head restraint, it will be safe to start steering. Half a turn, or 180 degrees toward the curb we're aiming for will do. The benefits of only doing this much steering are that we won't generate a lot of angle immediately, so we'll have time to look in the blind spot over our right shoulder a couple of times, and have plenty of time to spot when we need to steer back the other way. We want to keep reversing until this distance, around a drain's width away from the curb. We then want to steer away from the curb, full lock as quickly as we can. We should keep an eye on whether the rear wheel in the left mirror will make it round without hitting the curb. The front of our car, meanwhile, swings round until we're parallel with the curb. Once that happens, we can straighten the steering to finish. We can also tell when we're parallel by looking at the vehicle ahead, if they are parked reasonably well. To finish, we need to be roughly within a drain's width of the curb. Here, we're at around half a drain's width, so we could be twice as far away and still be okay. We can use a forward move to get closer if needed. We need to be reasonably parallel and have enough room in front to move away again, but not be more than 2 car lengths away from the vehicle in front. By keeping the initial steering toward the curb minimal, at just half a turn or 180 degrees, then, since our angle to the curb will remain fairly shallow, any corrections we have to do will be rather easy. In this example, we won't leave enough of a gap to the curb before steering back to the right. Now we should be able to tell in the left mirror that the rear wheel is on a collision course with the curb. It's worth going as close as we can to the curb to make the adjustment easier. Even if we touch the curb, as we do now, as long as it's at a very slow speed, it will only be a driving fault at worst. We then just select first gear, then spin the steering all the way to the left to tuck the front end in toward the curb. Also, the back wheel is now released from the curb. That didn't seem particularly difficult to correct. Steering back to the right too early can be more problematic if we allow the back of the car to start heading back toward the middle of the road. Here, we're way over a drain's width from the curb as we steer back to the right, and we can see in the left mirror we're never getting to the curb like this. We straighten up when parallel, but if we reverse in a straight line now, we won't get close enough to the curb. So we need to steer toward the curb again to close the gap to it. Anywhere between half a turn or a whole turn should do to get us there. Then, once we're close enough, steer as much as required away from the curb until parallel, then straighten up. We'll steer to the right too early again, but this time, by realizing much earlier that we won't reach the curb, we can save ourselves from having to do a lot of steering. In the left mirror, we should already be able to tell that the rear wheel won't get close to the curb if we continue steering as we are. By straightening the steering while we're still diagonal, we can see that just reversing straight with this angle is taking us closer to the curb. Then all we have to do is turn away from the curb when we get rather close. Now, that's all well and good when we're just practicing for a test scenario, but we also need to know what to do when we only have a small gap to reverse in, like this one on the left. This should only really be attempted if we have good control of the pedals, since there is little margin for error. Once we're lined up parallel with the target car, we'll stop, select reverse, and look all around. Since the gap we're reversing into is small, we need to be quite aggressive with our positioning, so we'll steer when the end of the other vehicle starts to disappear in this corner of the window, full lock to the left, or just when the back of our car is level with the back of theirs in the side mirror. As the bonnet swings out, we must be sure to still check over our right shoulder for anyone trying to get by. In the right-hand door mirror, when we can see the middle of the number plate of the vehicle behind, we'll be at around 45 degrees, and that would be a good angle to straighten the wheel. We should keep reversing slowly with the wheel straight, still aiming for the middle of that number plate. We should then turn our attention mostly toward the left-hand door mirror, to see when we want to steer back to the right before we hit the curb. Around this far away. Keep checking to see if we're going to bump into the curb or not. Once we think we'll be okay there, we need to look out the back window to also make sure we won't bump into the vehicle behind due to its close proximity. Once we're parallel, we'll straighten the steering. Even if it's not perfect, any tidying up should be minimal.